Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. And in today's video I wanted to talk about the new Superman trailer that came out. There's a new Superman trailer that came out like 2 days ago, and I wanted to talk about my thoughts and opinions on the trailer. And I also wanted to talk about kind of the expectations and the pressure that this movie has to do good and succeed. And the reason I say that is that, like, I feel like this movie has to do good for the DCU to continue and thrive. And so yeah, man, I just want to talk about the trailer, talk about my feelings on the movie and everything like that, and kind of just like the pressure this movie has to do well. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So starting off with the trailer itself, I thought the trailer was pretty good. We obviously got a bunch of new shots of characters. We got some new shots of different action scenes, different shots of like Superman flying around and stuff like that. And so definitely, I would say the cinematography in this movie, I definitely enjoy so far. I like how colorful and vibrant everything is. I feel like it's definitely leaning more into like the comic book booky side of Superman, and I think that's really important, and I think that's really cool to see that it's not like shying away from being a comic book, basically, essentially. And we also got some new shots of Superman fighting different enemies. We got him fighting, I think the character's name is like the Hammer of Baravia or something like that. We got some new shots of Superman fighting the Engineer and Ultraman. Obviously, they both work for Lex Luthor. And we also got some shots of just like Superman like saving people. We got some shots of him like flying around and like stuff like that. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, the music in the trailer was really good too. I know it's kind of like I guess like a remix of, I guess, the old Superman theme, but I thought it was pretty cool. I know, I guess some people would like to would like if he kind of had his own theme or a new theme for this Superman, but I feel like this kind of just I don't know, that theme, or I guess that the John Williams theme, I just like fits Superman so well that you can really put that, I feel like, theme with any Superman and it kind of works. I mean, it works for me at least. Like, I'm not really bothered by it. So I feel like that theme is so iconic and so essential to Superman. Like, whenever we think of Superman, we think of that John Williams theme. So that didn't really, that works for me personally. So starting at the beginning of the trailer, we basically get a scene with Lois and Clark together. Obviously, you know, they're being romantic with each other and stuff like that, and they're hanging out and stuff like that. And we get a scene with Lois basically interviewing Clark as Superman. And basically in the interview, Lois is basically asking Superman questions about him basically going into another country and basically stopping a war, and how that kind of has consequences not only for that country but also America, because Superman he represents America, you know, and in his perspective, in I guess his views, he doesn't necessarily represent America, but he represents himself, because he even says in the trailer that, like, hey, I don't represent America, I just represent me, and me trying to do good in the world, and me trying to be a force for good. And so I think it's going to be really interesting to see Superman obviously trying to be good and trying to do good in the world, and how that kind of conflicts with, I guess, other people's worldviews and how other people might perceive the world. And so I feel like that's gonna be super interesting to see. We also get some new shots of Jonathan Kent, you know, talking to Clark, and we also get to see, because because we hadn't seen her in any of the other trailers or anything like that. But we finally get to see Ma Kent in this trailer or in this movie. So because a lot of people were saying that, like, you know, Ma Kent maybe had died in this movie, or like she had, you know, died, you know, before this movie had started. So now we actually get to see that they're both alive and are doing well. And so we also get to see some shots of Lex Luthor in this trailer too. We get to see him like infiltrating the Fortress of Solitude and stuff like that. So that's probably going to be integral to like the plot and stuff like that. And that's definitely gonna you know, cause some conflicts and some bad things to happen. And so oh, we also get like another cool shot of Crypto, you know, fighting the engineer, which I thought was pretty cool. Obviously got to see new shots of Hawkgirl. We got to see new shots of Guy Gardner as Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific as well. We got to see some new shots of him. We got to see shots of Superman fighting this giant kaiju-looking creature. So you know, that's cool too. A lot of the shots of him flying have looked super good so far. There's one shot in the trailer where he's like, you know, flying, or like he's like kind of standing still, but he's flying, and then he like he shoots up to shoots up into the sky, and like the camera like follows him up to the sky.
Hey buddy, eyes up here.
And so like it's really gonna be cool to see how they shoot the different, or how they shoot the flying scenes in this movie, and how like they, you know, represent that. That's gonna be really interesting to see. What's cool to me is that, like, how I know that James Gunn understands Superman as a character is there's a scene where Superman is falling down from the sky, and he like crashes into like this concrete floor in the city, and there's like people around him, and there's this one guy that cries out for Superman's name, and the person literally goes down into like the little pit that Superman is in, and he helps Superman up in that moment. And I feel like that scene really captures and represents what Superman is as a character. Because yes, Superman is a god, he is an alien, he is a powerful being, but at the end of the day, he's a human being at heart. And it's so cool seeing other humans help him out, just like how he saves, you know, humans. It's cool to see them helping him out too, because they kind of have, it's important that Superman has a connection with the humans or the people around him. It's important that he has connections with the people around him in Metropolis and stuff like that. We obviously get to see that with like his family and stuff like that. We need to see Superman not only as like a super cool, powerful being who can do all these cool things and stuff like that, but we also need to see, it's just as important that we see his human side and what, you know, and what's important to him as well. And so I feel like that was super cool seeing that in the trailer. I forgot to mention, but we also get to see Rick Flag Sr. Because obviously Rick Flag was in Creature Commandos, and Creature Commandos was like kind of like, or it was the first DCU project in the DCU universe, I guess, if you want to be technical, but this is the first film. So it's cool to see that he's in this movie too. I know he's also in Peacemaker season 2 as well, so he's going to be in this movie, and he's also going to be in that. We also get to see Metamorpho in this trailer as well, and so there's gonna be a lot of characters in this movie. I did hear though, even though there are like a lot of characters in this movie, I did hear that like James Gunn is like his main focus is Superman Lois, and Lex Luthor. Like, those are the three main characters that we focused on the most in this movie. So like all the other side characters are obviously going to be pivotal and integral to like the plot of the film, but obviously those three characters are going to be what's the most important to this movie. So that's really good to hear, because I know that a lot of people have been like kind of, you know, apprehensive because they see all these characters and they're like, is this gonna work? Or are we gonna be able to focus on Superman as a character? And so yeah, it is nice to hear that, you know, James Gunn is focusing on Superman and him as a character. But the thing I really wanted to talk about was kind of the pressure this movie has, or kind of, yeah, the pressure this movie has to do good and be successful. Because if this movie, I feel like this movie will be successful, but like I do think there is because this is starting the DCU, or starting what will be the DCU, or, you know, for, you know, more movies to come and stuff like that. And I guess obviously I guess my feelings on that is that like this movie has to be good. Like this movie has to be great, in my opinion, in order for that to happen. And I do trust James Gunn as a director, because he has made, or like, yeah, every single comic book movie that he's done has been like good. From, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy to the Suicide Squad, every comic, and I guess Peacemaker was pretty good too. I didn't think it was as good as Guardians of the Galaxy or the Suicide Squad, but, you know, I thought it was like a fun little TV show that I enjoyed. But yeah, I do trust James Gunn in that regard, because I do feel like he does understand superheroes and what makes them so interesting and what makes them so likable and stuff like that. And I feel like he's also good at like balancing the emotional side with like the comedic side of things as well. So in that department, I feel like I don't really have any like worries about that. But I do feel like this movie has to be, I feel like it just has to be received well. It has to do good in order for things like, because I know we are getting a Supergirl movie, but we're also getting like, I think we're also getting like like things like Swamp Thing and Booster Gold, and I know they're doing like the Green Lantern show and stuff like that. But like, just as a jumping off point, I think this movie has to be successful and has to make an impact, because there hasn't been a Superman movie in like over a decade, if you think about it. Like the last Superman movie, came out in 2013, and so like we haven't had an actual feature film Superman movie in over a decade. So just in that regard, like obviously it's been like a decade, like it's been like 10 years, like just the world that we live in today is just so different now, and just that's especially like, I don't want to get like too political or anything like that, but especially in the world we live in today, where everything is so divided, and it just feels like a lot of people are just angry and mad a lot of the time. I feel like nowadays, I feel like a movie like this has to make an impact. It has to, because just like the nature of this film, Superman as a character is supposed to be so uplifting and inspirational. He's a character that's supposed to be kind in a world that's just doesn't see kindness, or doesn't, in a world that's just left kindness behind. Like it's so important. Or this movie is this movie is like literally the most important movie I feel like of this year, because it just has the responsibility of like just being an uplifting, inspirational movie. And I feel like from what I've seen so far, I feel like it is doing that. I feel like it is, like, from everything that I've seen, from like the actors portraying the characters, from the actual like the way like the movie actually looks. It's so vibrant and colorful, and it's definitely leaning more into like the comic book side of just like the comic books. Like it's just everything is so colorful and vibrant. And I know some people don't like this, or have not liked what they've seen from this movie. Obviously there are some people who still would prefer that, you know, Henry Cavill be Superman, and they prefer Zack Snyder's take on Superman, and you know, that's fine. I don't really have like anything against Zack Snyder's Superman or his take on, well, I mean, I do feel like, in my opinion, I do feel like his take on Superman, even though it is his own take on Superman, and I'm not saying you can't do different takes on different versions of Superman, I do feel like his take on Superman was so detached from any, like, I just feel like his Superman wasn't, in terms of like the human connection and him connecting to the humans and him, you know, I just feel like that was kind of like not done well. Like obviously he, you know, I feel like in those movies he was just kind of seen as like a powerful godlike being that people, you know, didn't really, that people couldn't really connect to in that regard. And I feel like that's kind of where they kind of fumbled that version of Superman. And so I feel like in this movie it's going to be very important that we see Superman interacting with humans and just being a champion for humankind and just like the people of Metropolis and stuff like that. And so yeah, man, I mean, this movie just has like a lot of pressure on it, and to be good, especially since it's like starting off the whole DCU. I don't know why I can't say that word. So it's gonna be really important to see how well this movie does, if it can, you know, succeed and be, you know, a starting point for this new DC universe. So yeah, man, that's kind of my opinions and takes on the new Superman movie. Leave down in the comment section below your feelings and thoughts on the new Superman trailer. Are you gonna go see the movie when it comes out? I know I am. I literally this is how important this movie is to me. I literally went out and bought a shirt, like a literal, like, because I know they've been selling like the Superman t-shirts with the actual like logo from the movie and everything like that. I went out and bought a t-shirt just to support this movie. So like I haven't even worn the t-shirt yet anyway. So like I'm literally waiting until like I go see the movie to actually wear the t-shirt. Like that's how like I feel like important this movie is to a lot of people, and for me. Like I'm very excited to see this movie and just see to see James Gunn's take on the character and everything. So yeah, man, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I will see you guys in the next one. So yeah, bye.